Slenderman stabber escapes police and cuts off ankle tag 11 years after stabbing classmate 19 times. When I first heard the story this morning at the time of this recording, I was like, you gotta be shitting me. Really? This girl again? Like, what's going on this time? And then, because I originally just saw the thumbnail. I just saw like a picture of her in the thumbnail. And I read the title that she had escaped from a local. And then I read the title that said that she basically. And then I read the title saying she had escaped from police. And now she has cut off her ankle monitor. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. I thought this bitch would make change by now. In 2014, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wheeler, both aged 12 at the time, were at a sleepover when they lured classmate Payton Lutner to a nearby park where Geyser stabbed the girl 19 times. Lutner fortunately survived the stabbing, thankfully. I mean, getting stabbed 19 times is no joke. Thankfully she did survive. And I can't imagine the betrayal she must be feeling even to this day by her two closest friends. That they did this to her because of some fictional horror character who apparently threatened the lives of their families if they didn't take part in this. Like, it's such a weird, strange thing to talk about. While Geyser and Wheeler said they had done it to win the approval of the fictional horror character Slenderman, as they claimed their families would be harmed. Yeah, I should read it. So Geyser pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and in 2018, while Wheeler pleaded guilty to second-degree or attempted second-degree intentional homicide, both pleas were vacated and the girls were found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. Geyser was sentenced to then 40 years. Geyser was sentenced to 40 years in a mental health institution, and Wheeler was sentenced to 25 years but then was released in 2021. Earlier this year, a judge ordered that Geyser could be released from the mental health hospital. Earlier this year, a judge ordered that Geyser could be released from the mental health hospital she was being kept in and was given a conditional release from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. Earlier this year, a judge ordered that Geyser could be released from the mental health hospital she was being kept at and was given a conditional release from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. And I can only imagine how much of a debate that probably sparked online, and probably from the local community as well for the matter. Like, a lot of people probably felt like this woman should not be released out into the public anytime soon, no matter how much quote unquote mental health has improved over the years. Like, however, the police in Madison, Wisconsin said yesterday, the 23rd of November, that she was at large after cutting off her ankle monitor and leaving a group home she had been placed in. Police had asked people to call them if they saw the woman, while her lawyer urged her to turn herself in immediately and not continue with this course of action. She had last been seen near the group home where she lived and had been in the company of an adult acquaintance, with police saying she had been seen around 8:15 p.m. local time on Saturday, and at around 9:30 p.m. they had received an alert that her GPS monitor was malfunctioning. Staff of the group home confirmed she wasn't there and the search was on, with the matter being resolved successfully after the Madison Police Department confirmed that at 10:34 p.m. yesterday, they had been told Geyser had been taken into custody in the neighbouring US state of Illinois. There is no longer a need to search for Morgan Geyser at this time, they said. Speaking after she was stabbed in 2014, Lutner had said she shouldn't be alive after what happened. It's understandable that she would feel that way, especially given how many times that she was stabbed, and it's probably like a miracle that she's even alive, but it's good to know that she is still alive, and I'm sure she probably still has a lot of anger and the feeling of betrayal inside her, especially when the two people at fault of this are two of your best friends. And I can imagine what her life's probably like right now. You know, how much therapy she's probably had to go through, how much trauma that she's had to let out after all of this, how much her trust has probably taken a back seat when it comes to people, especially people close to her as well. And she might be even afraid to let people in close to her after what happened back in 2014. She told ABC that Geyser and Wheeler had wanted to go on a walk, and she didn't think there was much wrong with that. But then Wheeler had asked her to lie down and cover herself with sticks and leaves. The girl was then stabbed 19 times, and said that Geyser and Wheeler then ran off, telling her they were going to get help. Lutner remembered she grabbed a couple of trees for support, and then walked until I hit a patch of grass where I could lay down. Shortly afterwards, a cyclist found her covered in blood and she was rushed to hospital. A surgeon said that if one of her chest wounds had been the width of a human hair deeper, then she wouldn't have survived. After the stabbing, Geyser and Wheeler walked for 5 hours before they were stopped by authorities on the side of the road. I mean, two things from there. Thankfully, there was a cyclist nearby who managed to see that she was absolutely... Thankfully, for one, we had the cyclist who managed to take her to a hospital and get her treatment. And that the cyclist was nearby in time to get her to hospital. Thankfully, there was this cyclist nearby who saw her, could see that she was in... And thank God for the cyclist who found Payton and then rushed her to a nearby hospital as soon as he could. And thank God for the cyclist who found Payton, could see that she was in danger and managed to get... So I'll say this, thank God for the cyclist. You know, if it wasn't for him, Payton would probably not be alive right now. So thankfully, he managed to see her. So thankfully, he came across to her at the right place at the right time and managed to get in touch with the authorities to rush her to hospital. What's weird to me is that Geyser and her friend Wheeler were out walking about for 5 hours. What's weird to me is that Geyser and Wheeler were just casually walking about for 5 hours straight, just after they had committed this crime, I might add. Like, what were they doing for that amount of time? Like, what was your plan? What was your game plan? Were you just walking until you could find a story that you could come up with to help your salute? Like, what was you doing for 5 hours? Like, okay, they were walking. I get that there. But, like, doing what? So the last part, where it says Wheeler and her friend, the last part where it says Geyser and her friend Wheeler were caught by authorities after discovering them at the side of the road where they had been walking for about 5 hours. What were they doing? Like, okay, they were walking, okay, fine. Were they trying to come up with some excuse? Were they trying to get the story straight? Were they trying to pin themselves as not... Were they trying to distance themselves as much as possible from the story? Like, what was their game plan? What was their end game? Not that it actually matters, because he eventually ended up getting caught, and what happened after that? What happened after that? So with that being said, please let me know your feelings down below. What do you think about this Morgan Geyser situation? What do you think happens to her going forward, now that she's been caught and put back into custody? So with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in. Till next time, take care, stay safe, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye for now.